Welcome to using Windows 10. So all of the FM computers in the district now will be running Windows 10, and there's a few differences in Windows 10, but I don't think it'll be a big learning curve. So the first thing we're going to do today is just go through some shortcuts on how you can kind of customize your desktop and sort of make it more personal and useful for you. So when I'm looking at the bottom menu of the screen with Windows 10, the first thing I'm going to notice that I still do have a start menu. So if I click on this, I'm going to see that the start menu does look different. And you can customize this start menu any way you wish. Like I set this up, but if I decided I didn't want items on here, or I wanted to add additional apps, I can find an application in my list, like for instance, Audacity, and I can drag it into my start menu. I can drag any application here. Maybe I want the calculator in my start menu. Wherever I drag it, it'll just drop in place. And you can move things around if you want to. If I decide that I don't want something, I can just right click on it and say unpin from start. And I will unpin a few of these. Um, I can make this I can rearrange these anything in the start menu. I can rearrange these in any way that I want as well. So it's really nice and easy to customize your start menu here. What I find though is that I end up not using the start menu that much in Windows 10 because right next to the start menu, there's this amazing search window. And if you click on this, you can just start typing in what it is that you want. So let's say I'm interested in Photoshop. I just start typing in the word photo and I get some settings options here. There's two applications that I have on the machine that start with the word photo. You can also search for file names. So for instance, if I was to type in the word Maggie, which is my daughter's name, I notice that there's all these documents that I can also pull up. And as you see, it's pulling up any photos of her that are named that way as well. So I love this search box. I end up using it all the time. It's a real nice I think it's a great shortcut. If I'm looking for an app like Audacity, let me pick a different one. Real, the Real Downloader. Okay, so if I right click on this, it's actually already pinned to my start, but you can just search and then pin to start or unpin from start. Or if I want this one on here, I would say pin to start. And now when I go to my start menu, that's listed here as well. So that is your search box. I think you'll use it a lot. I would actually use it as my, kind of get in the habit of trying to start using it, and I think you'll find how useful it is. The next item here I want to just talk about is the task view. This little icon right here is just a shortcut to show you everything that you currently have open on your computer. So if I click it again, it just goes back to normal view. But if I wanted to, sometimes you're working and you have tons of stuff open. And if you click on this, you're like, okay, I want to get rid of some of this stuff. Like I don't need this. I can close it from here, or you can switch back and forth to different applications this way. So there's kind of a lot that you can do. And, um, in terms of shortcuts with that. So I think it's a nice, useful tool to use. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I have a lot of shortcuts down here on my taskbar. The bottom of my screen is considered my taskbar. I actually prefer my shortcuts to be on the taskbar versus under the start menu. I find that in Windows 10 I don't use the start menu as much, but this is again personal preference. But anything that you want to pin down here to the start menu, you can just search for it. Like if I wanted Word down here, I would just search for Word, and then I would right click on it and say pin to the taskbar. And when I do that, the Word icon will now show up on my taskbar. So, and it's kind of a permanent shortcut there. You can put as many icons as you want here. If I just change my mind and I don't want Word on the taskbar anymore, I can just right click and I can say unpin from the taskbar. There are also some other shortcuts that you can add to your taskbar, which I find somewhat convenient. So if you right click and the open, just the empty area of the taskbar, you can go up here to where it says toolbars, And there's a couple things you can do. First of all, I could say address. And what this allows me to do is it allows me to type in a URL and kind of a shortcut to the internet. So let's say I want to go to the FM Schools website. I would just type in www.fmschools.org, hit enter, and it automatically launches the page in my default browser, which is Chrome. Um, this is just kind of it's really just a shortcut to going to particular websites. You want to go to Google, you just type it in, it takes you to the website. So it's really just kind of saving you an extra click. If you put this on and you decide you don't want it, you can always just right click again and go to toolbars and then just uncheck address and that'll go away. One thing that I really do like down here is you can put shortcuts to your most commonly used folders. So for instance, let's say I had a folder that I keep save most of my files to, or I just find myself going to this folder to pick up files a lot. I can right click on my taskbar, go up to toolbars, and I can say new toolbar, and I can choose any folder on my computer. Let's say it is this folder. I'll just say select folder. It puts a copy of the folder right here, and if I click on these arrows, it gives me a shortcut to every single thing in the folder. If I decide I don't want that, I'm just going to right click, hit toolbars, and then uncheck the folder. One folder that I find useful, if you guys notice my desktop is a little busy, we do not recommend this. You know, none of this stuff is being backed up currently, but I tend to save a lot to the desktop temporarily and then go and back it all up at once. And so for me, it's convenient to have a shortcut to my desktop file here. So if I go to toolbars and just choose desktop, it creates a shortcut here, and then I can quickly access anything on my desktop. If I want to open something, I would just click on it. I better not open that one. And it's just going to open the file directly. So it's just a nice little shortcut down here on your taskbar. Okay, it's your turn to practice. So why don't you try out some of these features, get the start menu the way you want, make your taskbar the way that you like, and kind of play around with a few of the features.